Welcome everyone. My name is Thiago Lima. I am a CSM here at TagoIO. Some of you already know me from previous webinars. It's a pleasure to be here with you today in this Autoscaling for Services webinar. So just an overview of our agenda today. We're gonna go over some of the concepts that we discussed on a previous webinar and really relating to billing, because it has everything to do with allocating resources into profiles. And once we get that understood and clear, we're gonna move on, and Victor is gonna tell us a little bit about the technical part of applying this script in order to allocate your services automatically. So first step will be the setup and options of your resources, then the resources concepts itself, setting up and allocating resources into the profiles, which now we have 3 profiles per starter account and over 100 profiles per scale account. So you're able to manage those, and I'll enter in a little bit in detail on how to do that. Upgrading and downgrading your account, you're now able to do that without having to depend on Tago or not. So you do have that flexibility. And when I say that, it's in terms of your own resources. So understanding your billing. So after downgrading or upgrading, your billing is going to change, and you're going to be able to see the history and all the different moves that you did within your billing setup, and how to allocate resources into profile manually. So we're going to understand the manual concept, and we're going to understand the automated concept. At the end of this webinar, we're going to have a Q&A. Please feel free to post your questions under the Q&A here during the webinar. We're going to go over them on the end, as we always do. And now I'm going to start with the plans, services, and add-ons. So what do I get once I am on a free plan? There's limited services. So I get all the default, but I'm not able to manage as I would with the scale and starter plan. So now I have data input, data output, storage, analysis, SMS, email, end users, and push notifications. And those can all be manageable on the starter and scale plan. And also you are able to add then custom domain, white label, custom mobile app, and support plans. We now have 3 different support plans that could be added. And that's another level of support that we can offer as a service as well. So telling a little bit about each service individually. So what is data input? So talking about a variable now. So each variable sent by your device or post in your data bucket. And the output, of course, will be the variable received by your devices or the get from the bucket. We have here storage as well. Each variable stored in the data bucket. Files is by size. So files is different than storage. Storage is for your data. File is for pictures, is for CSV reports, different types of files, and not the data, the variable sent. And then we have analysis, which is execution time. We have a default it's 3,000 minutes per month that you can run in total of analysis, and that can be changed as well. We have SMS, email, and push notifications, which is outgoing messages from the system to end user. And then we have the total limit of end users that access the platform. So now you can go from 50 to 100 to 200, 500, depending on the size of your application, how many users are you looking to get inside the scope. So taking a look now on our new renovated billing system, we have data input, data output, analysis, data storage, SMS, email, run users, and push notifications like we had before. So this is the view that we're gonna be working with today in order to understand how to apply the changes manually and automatically later on. So here I have 2 examples. I have one with data storage and another one with email. So I'm upgrading my data storage 1 point, and I'm reducing my email another point. So what I have here, I have upgrading data storage from 800,000 to 1,500,000. And this is going to reflect on my next billing, $15. The amount to be paid now is 1305. So on the next bill up top, you can see that you're going to go from 259 to 274. So if I click complete operation, it's going to run this. And then if I do the same thing with email, you're going to see the email downgrade there from 10,000 to 100. And then since you're going to the default plan, you're not going to be paying anything. And you can see up top on the right that new monthly bill will be from $259 to $244. So looking at profiles and summary for each profile. So I have their main profile, customer A, and sandbox. And I have my resources on the bottom. So what's the total that I have for all these profiles? And I can see on the right on option 4, how much am I expending for each profile? So this is a good form of keep track of all the data that you're consuming, all the limits that you are allocating. So over here, for example, I have on the left, number 1, it's the tab resource allocation, and number 2, I have resource availability. So you can see that I have a little bit of data output, a little bit of run users, and also push notification. Those items can be allocated to your whatever you wish profile, and you can also choose to allocate free resources, and that's going to distribute the resources for you. So over here, we're gonna be talking with this option with Vitor. This is the part where we're gonna insert our code into the platform in order to run the analysis. So this is a view that Vitor is also gonna get in touch with us in order to understand this this script. And for me, just giving you a brief overview, how can you do this manually, how it works, what's the concept in the high view of the billing system. You can always refer to the support center. We also have videos and tutorials. Under videos, you can watch the previous webinar where we actually talk about billing in a deep level. So if you still have questions in regards to what I said here, please revisit that webinar. And feel free to send me an email and contact our customer service. We'll be glad to help. And with this, I'm gonna be passing the floor to Victor, and he's gonna be taking care of the rest of the presentation. I'll be here on the Q&A in case you have any questions.
Hey everyone, so I'm Victor. I work with applications at TagoIO. And I want to talk a little bit about the Autoscale feature that we have. So previously we did have Autoscale inside the platform, but since Autoscaling it's becoming a very complex thing with different needs for different customers, we decided to move this to the analysis. So we are providing you a code and a tutorial on how to set up this in your account if you want to have Autoscale. And what Autoscale does is, if for some reason the limits of your account is reaching the maximum limit, the Autoscale feature will automatically subscribe your profile to the next tier and automatically apply these new limits to your account. So by using the Autoscale script, you end up in your account with an analysis to check all your services and your current usage, and an action that you need to have in order to schedule this analysis to run in a specific period of time. And how do we set up this analysis? So in this tutorial, you will have analysis templates that you need to download to your account. So I just clicking here in the link and installing this template. And once we have this template, and you will see that is very documented in the code here. If you want to apply change to this code, you can go quickly through all this documentation, understanding what each line of that is doing. And I will talk a little bit about customizing this at the end of the webinar. But the first thing you want to do is to go to the environment variables, and you have some variables here that you want to change. The first one is the account token. So you need to generate a profile token for this analysis to run. And if I go back here to the tutorial, you have this box that tell you that you need one analysis for each one of the profiles that you want to scale. So let's say you have two profiles, you need to do this step of setting up the analysis for each one of the profiles and have an action for each one of them. So how do I get this account token? So first thing is to go here on the top and click on your profiles. So select your profile here, go to tokens. Here you want to generate a new token. So I can name it Autoscale service. Make sure you have permission full and never to expire. Then press generate token. Enter your password. Now that you have the token, you just copy it, go back to your analysis and replace this with your token. Next thing we have here, the naming of our services that we want to scale. And this is actually a percentage, which means if the input service, for example, reach 90%, 95% of the usage is where the Autoscaling will be applied and scaled to the next tier for your input limits. So this is a very important settings of your Autoscaling. Automatically, we already recommend 95%, but depending on your limits, on your usage, you might want to get this lower, let's say 9%, or in some case 8%. But if you have very low usage and just want to be sure that nothing is blocked in your account, you can go with the default 95%. And of course, if you want to disable Autoscaling for input, data input, for example, you can just enter 0 here, and the Autoscaling feature will be completely disabled for data input in this case. And why do you want Autoscaling in your account? So the most important thing to know is that, let me go back to the beginning here. For most of the applications, if data input reaches the limit or analysis reaches the limit, it usually means that the application will stop and no one will be able to use the application anymore. So data input is very important to insert data to your devices through dashboards or through the device itself. Analysis is usually important to apply the automatically intelligence of your application and also to understand the comments that the user sends through the dashboards, SMS and mail and push notification usually use that mostly for triggering alerts, things like that. And of course, data storage also would stop your application if new data cannot come in to be stored in your account. So keep that in mind. Next thing you want to do quickly here is to save, go back to the analysis here, and then you have this console that we can expand. So first thing you want to do is press run once and make sure you don't see any error here. So as you can see, my analysis started and finished with no problem. So if you see some error here, probably you did something wrong. And I do recommend you to ask help in the tutorial itself, because this is under our community, TagoIO tutorials. You can go to the bottom here and reply to this tutorial in order to ask for help. make sure you do copy your console and add it to your reply. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand what's happening to your analysis. So once it's tested, everything run it perfectly, no errors, we can go to automatize this process of running the script. So right now, the script would only run if I press run here. So we need to have an action to cover that. So going to your actions here, you can edit a new action, give a name for it, like Autoscale. And you want to select the schedule here. Select the type of action to run an analysis and select your autoscaling script. So under schedule, you can set this to run at the minimum of 1 minute. So each minute, the script will be running and check your usage and autoscale if needed. But of course, keep in mind that autoscaling, let me go back to the analysis here just to show you. So autoscaling take an average of 2.8 seconds. So this is charged on your analysis limit. So depending on how often you are running this script, you will be billed 3 seconds each time the analysis run, just for you to keep this in mind. So depending on your application, how is the usage, you can, of course, take some customization on that. You can also set this to run only once per day by selecting by date, repeat every day, and you select the time this will run. So you have more freedom on how do you want to autoscale your application. So running each minute, press save, and now we are done. The autoscaling script is set on our account. And no need to do anything else. So the next most important thing is that sometimes we do release updates to these scripts, and you may need to update the script for some reason or for additional features that we added to the script. Usually this is noted through here the topic of this tutorial. You can follow this topic if you want to keep up to date. And the quick way to update is just to go here to your snippets and select auto-scaling profile limits. Once you select that, the script will be with the most recent version. Okay, that's all. Tiago, do we have any question?
Hi, Vitor. So far, we don't have any open questions. I'm going to give everybody a second. Let's see if we have any questions from anyone. Okay, no questions until now, Vitor.
Okay. So there's some questions that come to my mind. For example, can you customize this script? So as I mentioned, that this is completely documented. And one of the things you can do, for example, is you may want to use, do I have the meetings here? Yeah, you may want to use your resource that is already available in your account. And I don't know why you would have that, but some cases you can, like I have here, I have that output available, and I did not allocate this resource to any of the profiles. So you can customize the script to read the resource available in your account. and distribute instead of subscribing a new tier. So here in this code, you get all the limits of your account and the limits of your current profile. So you can console log this, understand, and apply some math in order to calculate, to check how much you have available and allocate this. And you can see at the bottom here, the script to allocate. In this case, it's here. And you can quickly allocate new resources to your profile, or in some cases, when you get a new tier here under your services, I believe it goes from 3,000 to 10,000, I believe. So in this case, you may want to split the new resource into different profiles. So you can do this from here as well. And you may want also to have auto downgrade script. So this is also possible. I do recommend to ask help for downgrading if you don't find the functions that you need here in the application, but since you can edit your billings here and edit the allocation of each profile, you can actually remove the allocation from the profile and then edit your billing in order to downgrade. I believe this is all the tips I have. Thiago?
Victor, we got a error code from Robbie. He sent us the error in the Q&A chat. Do you want to take a peek and see if we can help him with that?
Yeah, so these errors I highly recommend to reply here in the topic, but from what I can see in your error is that the profile does not exist for the token that you are using. I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe you are trying to use a account that is shared with you. Not sure.
Okay, so the best thing to do, Victor, you said, is to copy the error on the post, right? And we'll be able to reply from there.
Yeah, the best thing to do is to reply here, and we can ask for more information and try to understand why you are having this problem. But if you are using your profile and you did set up the environment variables as expected, I don't think you would experience any problem.
Sounds good. Let's see if we have any other questions. All right. I think it looks clear, Peter. Do you have anything to add? Or are we good? Before I make my final references.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Sounds good. Well, I would like to thank everybody that joined. Again, I would like to reinforce also that we had a webinar previously just to cover billing itself. And this is a great addition to that in order to keep your account with the proper auto scale limits. Like Vitor said, if you have any questions, you can post on this topic. We're going to be sharing this with you by email later, the material and the link. So don't worry about that. This webinar will also be recorded and added onto the videos page. I'll also have that link available for you on the email. And this is all for today. I would like to thank Vitor for the great presentation, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.